Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Now, here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. This is our weekly recap. Hold on. No, the Twitch link is we're streaming on Twitch. I was about to say, hold on, wait a minute. We're streaming on Twitch, right? Yeah, we're streaming on Twitch. Twitch.tv/TheKempire. Twitch.tv/TheKempire. So make sure you guys are following me there. This is our weekly recap of Married to Medicine. And look, the first two episodes of Married to Medicine have not been good. I can't even say that this episode was that great. I still probably would give it a rating between 4 and 6. If you're watching on YouTube, you can rate in the live chat poll. I still don't think it was that great, but I want to have a good conversation with you guys about some of the things that stood out to me. Okay? Kendra, I just said the Twitch link. Just saying. All right. Okay, let me look at my notes. Let me open up my notes. Shout out to everyone watching on X, those of you watching on Facebook, those of you watching on Twitch. We see you guys. See, Judy's here. See, Judy's in the Twitch. Hey, Judy. Says hello, Kempire in chat. Nails by Dia says the episode was a snooze fest. I wouldn't say there was a snooze fest. If anything, it was a snooze fest until Dr. Simone started screaming, then it woke you up. It definitely woke you up. Like, oh, wait a minute. Why is she yelling? Okay. Jennifer says, what? I love Married to Medicine, which is fine. Please understand, you're entitled to feel how you feel, and I'm entitled to feel how I feel. That's why this is a review. Not all of us are going to feel the same about the episode. I will say this was probably a better episode than the first two episodes. The first two episodes were not great. Hey, Lene Views. What's going on? Watching on Twitch as well. So I'm going to go through it. I will say I didn't have to take as many notes in comparison to Real Housewives of Potomac. If you missed it, we just recapped Real Housewives of Potomac. So be sure to check that out. By the time I got to the end, I was like, oh, wait, that was a quick episode. Not because it was necessarily good, but it was better than the first two episodes. I'll say that. Okay. Destiny says, I liked this episode. Specific on this episode. I liked this episode. All right, guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. Let me get into this. So Dr. Contessa meets up with her party planner and Toya because she's planning her 49th birthday. It's important to note that she wanted to have an event. So why not have an event? Because if you're going to throw a birthday party for yourself, wouldn't it be for your big 5-0? Maybe next season, if she comes back, if there is another season, that Dr. Scott will throw her a big 5-0 birthday party. So she meets up with Latoya. She meets up with Toya to talk about this birthday party. She walks up and I'm like, can someone just help Dr. Contessa with her fashions? And I get it, it's a costume party, but we're not even at the party yet. And I'm like, what does she have on? What is this wig right now? I'm just like, Doc. And look, if she got it right every other time, then I'd be like, okay, she was just being fun here. No, this is just how she dresses, even from her confessionals. I'm just like, girl, we got to get it together. Like the model is perfect, but the way you put the clothes together, it's not. But okay. So she walks up and she got her little afro and her little Party City jumpsuit on, and she walks in to see Toya, and they're laughing and kikiing, and she's like, should I do a red carpet? And she's like, no, you should do it like a Soul Train line. It's the 70s. So the theme of her birthday party is going to be the 70s. Okay. So she loves what she's seeing so far in the space. Okay. So she talks with her party planner, okay, about what she wants and things like that. The party planner's budget is $40,000. And Toya's like, $40,000? I thought for Toya, because she's throwing so many parties, she would have thought that was too low. She said it was too high. So if Toya thinks your budget is too high, then you got a problem. And Toya said, you better take some of that money and finish up that building. She's right, though. She's right. Everybody likes to say what they wanted to say about Toya, but she's right. So she's going to spend $40,000. I mean, based off the party that we saw, it wasn't giving $40,000, right? For $40,000 in Atlanta, it was definitely not giving that. If anything, I would have rather a dinner party like Brandy does at the end of the episode. So Toya thinks her budget is way too much. She thinks she should invest that money into finishing up the building that she would like to rent. Dr. Eugene would like to rent. I agree. It's just not coming together the right way, because you talk about how you've put so much money into this building. The building is still not done. Not saying that you shouldn't throw a party for yourself, but to throw $40,000 into this party, and it wasn't giving like it was a $40,000 party. It definitely wasn't. It wasn't even giving that your costume that you put on for this party was giving $40,000. Miss Vegan says it wasn't even giving $10,000. And if my violin was working, I would play this for you, but I'll just give it to you and pretend. It was like, meow, 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 meow. What? Oh, Coco Scorpio says, is it like she paid $40,000 just for the balloons? Right? Because even the balloons, I don't know how much the balloons would cost, but not $40,000. Pageant Mommy says, Toya had a Birkin party. Shut your mouth. I mean, she spent more on that Birkin. Oh my gosh. I don't know, but fine. So that was the opening scene with Dr. Contessa. Then we have Quad at home with King. Here's the thing, and I thought about this because I saw this scene as a preview for this week's episode. And I remember last season, we were like, we're not sure if this is a real relationship. I do believe it's a real relationship. I think we just are not interested in their scenes together. Because their scenes, and it could be because King is not used to shooting reality television, and maybe Quad is not used to shooting reality television with him. It always gives phony, awkward. You know what I mean? So he's sitting there eating his plate of food, okay? And he's like, you better allow me to eat because you want it 15 times a day. I need my strength. Having sex 15 times a day. King then talks about how the hormones have made Quad a little bit, very emotional. Okay. Kendra says, Kempire, your violin interpretations just sounded like Ashley singing. Oh, Ashley Darby from Potomac. Okay. So apparently she's been taking the hormone shot. We get updates on what Quad has decided to do. So she's going to Ghana to do her IVF journey, but she's still doing things stateside, and she's working with Dr. Jackie on the state side of things in regards to the lab tracing. So we flash back to that scene. So apparently she's done 2 retrievals in Ghana. Okay, egg retrievals. Okay. All right. So apparently Quad, they flash back to last week's episode where Quad was crying a lot. And she says, because of the hormones and things like that, she feels like she's been crying a lot. She doesn't feel like she's been raging as to what King is insinuating, but she definitely feels like she's been crying a lot. All right. So in their confessionals, King, who's getting pregnant with Quad. He's like, I felt like I've been trying to dodge this bullet my entire life. And she's like, it's not a bullet, it's a blessing. It's not a bullet, it's a blessing. And then he's like, a blessing in disguise? I think you guys need to figure out where you're going to live before deciding to have children together. She did insinuate at the end of the episode that she has a wedding ring in the safe. Is that her old wedding ring from Dr. Gregory, or is this a wedding ring that King is waiting to give you? I don't know. But I just feel like we've skipped a couple of steps. Right? We've skipped a couple of steps. Right? Exactly. Miss Brooklyn, I thought the same thing. Miss Brooklyn says, how can you tell? Quad been crying all the time since the beginning of Married to Medicine. All right, so it's not just me. How do I say your name? Oh, Lakita. I was like, wait, Lankita Greer says that their relationship is cringy. I believe it's a real relationship. I just feel like when they're being filmed, it comes across not authentic. I heard people say, how do you guys feel about King? Adrian says King equals the red flags. How do you guys feel about that? I've seen mixed reactions to King. The Joya Massey says, unpopular opinion, Quad shouldn't be having a baby with him. I don't think that's unpopular. Who here agrees with the Joya Massey? I feel like you're not alone. Oh wait, is it the Joy Massey? Sorry, I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. Ooh, Josh says, "Don't be Sherry, Quad." And if you know the story of Sherry Shepherd, then if you don't, Google it. I don't have time to get into it. Okay. Deborah says, not a fan of King personally. Some people do not like the way that King speaks to her. And here's the thing. I'm just not sure if the relationship is translating for me. Lyrics says, I like King. I don't really like him, and I don't dislike him. You know what I mean? You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, I don't really have any feelings towards him at all. I think he's handsome. That's about it. No other, you know what I mean? All right. Danny says, I don't mind King. P-Dub says, King seems okay. So you guys feel like I feel like you really have no feeling towards him. Foxy says he needs to be more nice to her. Miriam says, how could they be discussing whose food it is? Because he don't live there? I don't know. Taro says he seems childish. Lakita says King is meh. See? So we all kind of are on the fence about this relationship. All right, so he says it's a blessing in disguise. Them having a baby together. They're not engaged. Not to say that you even need to be engaged, but you can't even figure out where you're going to live. What's his sign? I don't know. What is his sign? Did we ever figure that out? We know Quad is a Taurus. Did we ever figure out what King's sign is? I feel like they've celebrated a birthday. What's his sign? So we can judge him accordingly. Trini says, I don't mind him. See, everyone's feelings about King are sort of like, I don't mind him. He's there. Fine. Whatever. All right, let's move on. Guys, while I'm doing that, don't forget to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. All right? Other channels will start to show up on your algorithm. Let's get... Oh, damn. The party already happens already? All right. We're at Contessa's Players Ball. Ooh. We're at the Players Ball. All right? But before we get to the Players Ball, Brandy helps Contessa get her ready for the ball. You know, she goes there early, which is interesting because what happens later on in the episode is like, damn, Contessa, why are you coming at Brandy like this? And she was one of the people to help you with this party and was listening to you complain about Scott. So Scott doesn't volunteer to help her with this party. They talked about this in the earlier scene. Damn, am I almost done with this recap? We're only 15 minutes in. All right. So Scott has not helped her at all with this party. She's throwing this party herself. I'm not sure if he's paying for it, but fine. It seems like she paid for it, though, right? Isn't that what she said at the end? Excuse me. All right. So Contessa then decides to give Brandy advice. Brandy, don't take her advice. And basically her advice, she says, when speaking to your husband, don't ever say to him like, oh, I got this, or you don't need their help, because then you're dealing with this for the rest of your relationship. Josh, you caught that? Josh says, so Brandy reminds you of regular Robin, huh? I caught that count. No, she doesn't actually. If anything, Brandy's a standout as a newbie. If anyone that reminds me of regular Robin, it's what's her name? Angel Love. She's just sort of there, pretty. That's it. And look, that's no fault of yours, Angel. Maybe they're just not showing everything that's going on with you. But based off the first 3 episodes, Brandy has been standing out more, both on social media, on the show, and then in this episode. But okay. So Contessa gives Brandy that advice because I guess that's what advice she probably would have taken in her own relationship. All right. Who had the best outfits? I feel like everybody looked a hot mess. Everyone looked like they went to Party City and got their best 70s outfit. Except, I will say Quad and King looked good. They looked really good. I don't know if they were necessarily 100% 70s, but yeah, for the most part. I think Toya looked good. I don't know what Eugene had on, but fine. What the hell was on Dr. Jackie's head? Was that supposed to be an afro? She looked like, I don't know what she looked like, y'all. She looked a mess. That hair looked a mess. What did Dr. Heavenly have on? We know what Dr. Damon Daddy had on, his regular degular outfit. He didn't even dress up for the party. And Heavenly was like, oh, you know what? I could have got him a pimp outfit. He's like, I wouldn't have wore it. Why are you so humdrum? Don't come. All right? And look, they look... Why? Look, why? I feel like some of the guests that we don't know look better than the actual stars of the show. Okay. Libra says Contessa's husband won best dress. I mean, he definitely looked more the part. Even he looked better than Dr. Contessa. Dr. Contessa didn't look a hot mess. I mean, I liked her outfit, her first outfit. Her second outfit, I was like, what is this? Was he giving Cher? I don't know. Oh, Dr. Mimi was there. I'm trying to remember what she had on. I remember what her husband had on because he had that really bad wig on. Yeah, they looked good. They looked good for the most part. Yeah. Dr. Mimi, are you with us? Between Dr. Mimi and not Princess Love. What's her name? Angel Love. Okay, it's only episode 3. Libra says Damon never dresses up. But that's a problem. Like, don't come. Stay home. Because I feel like it's disrespectful to the person hosting the party. Don't you think that's disrespectful to the person hosting the party? Like, I'm hosting a costume party. If you come and dress... what if everyone took your state of mind? What makes you better than everyone else? Stay home. You could have at least put a hat on, something. Oh, Lord. Storm vs. Ash says, stop, Kempire. I like Dr. Mimi. She had on a gold dress. I had to really go back and think. She did look good. Okay. And look, yeah, Real Housewives, yeah, Mimi faded into the background. But that's the thing. Even, I'm not saying that she needs to be messy. I don't need she needs to be like out there or anything like, but sometimes I forget that she's even on the cast full time. But that's me. I'm like, okay. She had to host the even then, when she hosted the event, what was it, a couple weeks ago? I forgot she was hosting it. Right, at least an afro wig, Deborah says. Regina says, very disrespectful. Oh, Bernice says, I thought Angel's outfit was cute. I can't even remember what she had on. All right, fine, whatever. All right, so they're having a good time. Everyone's arriving, whatever. Curtis jokes as he takes a picture with Dr. Simone. So he's joking, he's like, I don't want to get too close because remember what Toya said on Watch What Happens Live. They're really trying to spin this narrative. Like Toya just brought this up. She was asked a question on Watch What Happens Live. She had an experience with Curtis being inappropriate with her. And Dr. Jackie's making her out to be the villain. But okay. So Curtis jokes about getting too close to Simone. You see Dr. Simone tells Jackie about it, and Dr. Jackie's laughing with Dr. Simone. Okay, so everybody finds it funny. Okay, whatever. I don't think Dr. Jackie ever liked Toya, though. Like, over time. All right. Charjay says, Dr. Mimi strives to be Switzerland neutral. Which is fine. I'm okay with her being neutral, but sometimes I forget she's there. Okay? I feel like Brandy's, for the most part, is neutral, but we know that Brandy's there. All right, Leah says, happy birthday, Sora Contessa. All right. What sign is Dr. Contessa? Can someone find out? All right. Excuse me. Look at me yawning. Every time I do Married to Medicine, I be yawning. Miss Brooklyn Diamond says, always blaming the victim and never the perpetrator. CJ says that Dr. Heavenly should have got him a hat. He said he wouldn't have worn it. Oh, KNC says Contessa's a Gemini, unfortunately. Oh, that makes sense. Virgo says, Virgo? I thought, no. Because when they were filming this, that wasn't in September. It was definitely like the spring. Also, she's a Virgo. Okay, that makes sense. Mr. Melon Magic says, Contessa's sign is a liar. Same thing. Wait. Let's move on. All right. Oh my gosh. All right. So Damon, as I said to you before, didn't wear a costume. Toya talks to the ladies about how much Contessa spent on the party. And Dr. Simone talks about how she threw a birthday party for her sons, and she spent like that $5,000. So they're like, what is going on? Like how like $40,000? Okay. Toya then talks to Scott, Dr. Scott, about his involvement in the birthday party, and she was being very sarcastic with him. I'm sorry, guys. I really did make myself laugh with that one. Okay. So she talks to Toya really is working overtime this season. We're only on episode 3, and I feel like she's at the center of bringing the storylines around. So she confronts Dr. Scott about throwing the party. She's like, "Oh, you throw a good party," and he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You husbands need to do better when it comes to doing stuff for your wives." She does say in her confessional, except Eugene. But wasn't she dragging Eugene for the way he threw stuff before? I feel like maybe he's doing better now, but I feel like she's talked to him about it before. All right, so Eugene is talking with the guys, and he's talking about working at this other hospital and how the nurses love him. So they sort of like, "Oh, what about the patients?" And he's like, "Well, some of the nurses are men, and one of the male nurses knows Curtis." All right, is he Dominican? No, I'm playing. It's funny because it's true. Okay. All right, so then they're partying, having a good time. They're dancing, dancing. Fun. All right. Then Scott makes a speech, and he says, did he say his mama says she's like Rose? She would take you back onto on I guess whatever happened in Titanic. And I'm thinking to myself. And then Quad makes a comment in her confession, like, why do wives always got to be saving somebody? And she's like sinking with the ship kind of situation. I agree. Scott is weird. I thought after their last season being full-time on the show that they would have gotten a divorce. But part of me thinks, based off of what Contessa says later on in the episode, part of me thinks that Contessa much rather be married than single, no matter what. Because you saw what she said about her single friends. And that's fine. But girls, take us out of the group chat. Take us out of the group chat. I am not interested in seeing your struggle, love. Now I'm reminded exactly why I was so over you that last season. Like, just get off. Why are we back here? And then the thing is, you then try to gaslight us into seeing what you were complaining about before. You know what I mean? I don't get it. I don't get it. But all right, fine. Look, fine. But based on what she says at the end of the episode, I think she much rather be in a terrible marriage than single, like her friends. All right. Daphne says, I thought they would have been divorced also. And I'm not wishing that on anyone, but girl, you keep showing us this relationship that seems very unhappy. So I much rather see you single and happy than in a marriage and miserable, because it's giving miserable. And I don't want to watch it. There's enough miserable marriages on this show already. We'll talk about that marriage in just a second. So they're having a good old time, all right? Scott gives his weird speech. Then the ladies go out back and they're having a conversation about the party and what's been going on. And Dr. Simone weighs in. She's like, my first Mother's Day, Cecil didn't even get me a Mother's Day gift. Her first one. I would have left him after that one. That was the first sign. That was the first sign that she should have paid attention to. Your first Mother's Day, and he didn't get you a Mother's Day gift. The first one. All right. So then Contessa talks about throwing this party for herself, and everyone's just like, but why did you have to throw this party for yourself? And then she really spins it around and tries to make it sort of like this empowerment moment. You guys are sitting around complaining about me throwing this party for myself, and I just threw a hell of a party and blah, blah, blah. And Quad's like, look at you just done turned this around. You done turned this around. Girl, you like it? We love it for you. Take us out the group chat. Please. Take us out the group chat. No one is interested in watching this another season. Because literally, we see what we saw in that last season, where she complains about this relationship or she hints at problems in the relationship. And then when people point it out or bring it up, she's just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. The patriarchy. Shut up. Now we talking about sexism and the patriarchy, and I'm like, girl, that's not what people are saying. That is not what people are saying. Christina, thank you so much for the super chat. Christina says it didn't even give $20,000. Thank you for the super chat, Christina. Bernice, thank you so much for the super chat. Maybe the venue is $44,000 and $1,000 for the rest. Wait, was it over $40,000 she spent? I don't remember seeing the total. OMG. Oh, please don't tell me she spent over that. Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. Queen says, I'm so happy to catch a live after so long. Hashtag replay crew strong. Thank you, Queen of the Horn. Thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Shout out to our replay crew. We see you guys. We understand. Shout out to the replay crew. Be sure to let us know your thoughts on the latest episode of Married to Medicine. Marquel, thank you so much for the super chat. Marquel says, I think Quad and King try to be lighthearted and funny on camera and it reads fake, but I like them. That's what I think it is. I feel like it's a real relationship, but they're weird and awkward on camera. I can't say that I like them or not, to be honest with you, because I don't really... I much rather see the scene or scenes with Quad and her nephew. I didn't enjoy the scenes when Quad was washing her wig, but honestly, I much rather see them. Because these scenes are weird. Their scenes are weird. A little bit. Just a little bit. But fine. Miss Rose, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Miss Rose says, Angel is a friend of the show, so I don't think she's supposed to stand out, but I'm loving Brandy so far. She seems like a real sweetheart, but can stand on her own. Like they won't be able to run over her. I agree, but I feel like she's a friend of the show, but she doesn't feel like a friend of the show. She kind of feels like, oh, wait, you're here. Forgot that you were here. But that's me. Miss Brooklyn Diamond, thank you so much for gifting memberships. If you guys have been gifted a membership, be sure to thank Miss Brooklyn Diamond. We appreciate your support. Miss Esquire, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Esquire says, I wish these people would create the marriages they want. Come up with an arrangement that makes sense where you both can be happy. Yeah, because it doesn't feel like Dr. Contessa is happy. And then she gaslights us when we point it out. Then she'll say that, let's say if I interviewed her, she'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Ma'am. Ma'am.
Okay. Only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There. The last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
I've got Dan Morgan here on the pod. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Dan Morgan. I'm an attorney and a managing partner at Morgan & Morgan, which is America's largest injury law firm.
That's pretty awesome. I think I saw a billboard of yours recently that said 20 billion won. 20 billion is an insane number.
Yeah, 20 billion recovered. It's actually, I think, somewhere north, probably closer to 22, 23 after this year. And each year we get bigger and badder and our army grows. So the number will hopefully keep getting bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Awesome. So how does someone get in contact with Morgan & Morgan? What would I do if I got into an accident?
Probably the easiest way is dialing pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. We are always open. Our call center is always waiting to take your call. 24/7, 365.
Wow. Dan Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Thanks for coming by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Pageant Mommy says, friend of is an audition for the cast member role, and she's not getting it. She's not getting it. Way of Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Keith says, Contessa is giving a piece of man is better than no man. Yeah. I hate when couples who's gone through cheating gives relationship advice. Who's giving relationship advice? Look, because I know Dr. Simone loves to give relationship advice. I don't think Cecil's ever cheated. He just had that very interesting relationship with his girl best friend that interfered in their marriage. But we'll talk about that in a second. So that was the party. That was the party. Let's get to speaking of Cecil. Simone and Cecil at home. Oh, wait. I got to show y'all a picture because y'all not going to believe it unless I show y'all the picture. Keep liking the video if you haven't already, guys. We will take callers in a bit. Members, I'll be dropping the call link for you guys first. Let me show y'all a picture real quick. So Cecil and Simone are headed home, and their sons are already there, and they are, hold on, and they are getting some pasta and stuff ready for them, okay? The pasta look good. Let me show you the pasta. So Miles was sharing out this pasta. You see what the pasta's in, y'all? Do y'all see the pasta is on top of the paper that you're supposed to take out before you put anything in it? Oh my God. Please tell me, what is going on? What is happening in this scene right now? The pasta looks good, but I would be like, ugh, after eating this pasta, like, you did not take the paper off? What? Why is the paper still on? The all-purpose paper? Okay, Lord have mercy. But this is what that's a perfect example of our frustration with Cecil and Dr. Simone. They've been babying these two young men for too long. Now they feel entitled, and now you have Dr. Simone screaming her head off that they're so entitled. Her son's like, why don't you pay for me going to law school? Honestly, though, okay, I can see different sides of the situation, but I was team Dr. Simone because I was like, whoa, you guys are team too much. You guys are expecting a lot. You are entitled. So they come in and they're talking, and you're like, oh, you gave us a graduation party. We're giving you guys a graduation party. Okay. So they're serving them the food. They're sitting there talking, and they're talking about their expenses and things like that. All right. So Simone says, let me go grab my iPad because I wrote some things down. Okay. So she goes to grab her iPad. Michael spent in the last year on the credit card 60. I thought it said 16. No. In the rewatch, $60,000 he spent on their credit card the previous year. 60,000. $60,000. Miss Foodie says, okay, well, Miss Foodie. And Miss Foodie had to put a laughing emoji. Hashtag Team Michael. Hear me out. I might have Michael's back for a second. But this is a perfect example of how their parents have failed them. They don't even know how to serve food. And we've talked about our frustrations with how Dr. Simone and Cecil have babied these young men. I can understand supporting them while they're getting their undergraduate degrees. I can understand that. Giving them an apartment, yes, they try to make it seem like, okay, this is an investment property for us. If you're going to have anyone live in your property, why not have family? I've done it, not the greatest, but yeah, why not have family instead of strangers, okay? But our frustration was, remember last season, part of their storyline, they went there to clean up the apartment. So I feel like they've enabled these young men for a long time. So are we completely surprised that when they sit down to have a conversation and he's talking about he wants to get a new car and he wants his mother to pay for law school? Am I surprised that they're acting entitled and comparing themselves to white children? And here's the thing. We've talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it again. I'm okay with black children being spoiled because he's right. There are white children that are spoiled all the time. And it feels like black parents always feel like their kids have to struggle. Why? You worked hard, so I don't have to struggle. However, enabling your children to have more than you did doesn't mean that you disable them. And I feel like this is a perfect example in the same scene of you have disabled these young men. You have disabled them to the point where he don't know to take. Okay, Miles is a different one. Can we all just say that? We're not going to say any more than that. Miles is a different one. Okay, so I wasn't completely surprised. And even if they had given him everything that they got and they taught him to take the wrapper off, okay, I think he still would do it. All right. I'm just going to say it like that. Right. And we're not going to say anything more. Replay crew and live chat. We're just going to leave it at that. So, and we talked about this a couple of seasons ago on RHOA where Candy was talking about this and we were saying, it's okay. It's okay to not have your young children of color struggle. You always give them a step up. But Michael, you already have had to step up. There is no way in hell that I could have spent $60,000 on my parents' credit card. Okay? And they paid it off. So you're already living like a Nepo baby. But Dr. Simone's frustration is now you want even more. And Dr. Simone said something so important that I think people will brush over. She's making a very good check at Bravo. She has her own practice. Okay, she makes good money, but she also is a doctor that pays up. I can only imagine how much she's paying for her insurance. Okay, her license. I can only imagine. So there's that. But she's also like, I would like to retire one day. I don't want to be like Dr. Jackie. She didn't say that. I'm adding that. She doesn't want to be like Dr. Jackie. And I'm not going to take away from what Cecil might bring. I don't know what Cecil does for a living. I remember when he first started on the show, he was doing real estate. But I can almost 100% say that she is the breadwinner in that family. From the money she makes on Married to Medicine alone, I'm sure she probably makes more money on Married to Medicine than she does as a medical doctor. She's an OG. Sidebar, on Watch What Happens Live, she also said what Toya said in regards to Dr. Heavenly being demoted. I'm going to believe the cast over I believe whatever Dr. Heavenly is telling us when it comes to her. Oh, it was because of her political aspirations is the reason why she took a demotion this season. Multiple people are saying, no, that is not what it is. And your little scene with Damon Daddy last week, Dr. Damon Daddy, Daddy, can you make Buddy come home? Oh, Daddy, why didn't you tell me? You didn't tell me, Daddy. I told you. You didn't tell me, Daddy. All of that. She did not want that to be the focus this season. So she took the demotion. Nothing else can convince me because all the signs point that she took this demotion so that they wouldn't focus too much on her family life, her personal story. But fine, y'all believe what y'all want to believe. Okay? Yes, Daddy. Daddy, can you make Buddy come home? I can't make Buddy come home. I can't make Buddy come home. All right, fine. All right. Yup, exactly, P-Dub. And what stood out to me when Dr. Simone said that Dr. Heavenly was demoted, normally Andy Cohen would say something. Andy didn't say a word. Even though he's not a producer of that show, he's an executive. He hosts their reunion. If he didn't believe that, he would have said something. Tiffany says, do it again, Kemp. Nope, I'm going to save it. Because I feel like I'm going to be doing that for the rest of the season. OMG. Okay, back to this. Back to Dr. Simone. So Dr. Simone, she's like, I would like to retire. And based off of raising, these are 20-something-year-old men. And I get it. She might still help them. However, you're spending $60,000 on a credit card and you don't even have to even think about how it's getting paid. Oh my God. I wish, okay? I wish I had parents like that. But there has to be a balance of allowing your children to live a certain life, a life that you weren't used to living, without having to disable them. And I think these boys have been, not these men, these young men have been disabled. Okay? So Cecil then starts defending the boys because Michael, he gets frustrated. Now he skinning up his teeth. He's getting frustrated. He's like, I'm done. And she's like, I'm done too. She gets up. And you know what? To the cameraman, you had one job. Because Dr. Simone gets really frustrated with Cecil because he's showing support for the boys. He's not showing a united front. And she said on Watch What Happens Live, it's because he doesn't want to be the bad guy. He doesn't want to be the bad guy. How about having your wife's back? Okay, more money that's in her pocket means more money for you to take out of her account without her knowing. He's done it before. He's done it before. So she gets so frustrated and she starts screaming. Honestly, look, I don't love it when Dr. Simone screams, but this was the one time I said, legitimate. Okay. Legitimate. Exactly. Ames says $60,000 on that credit card, and she was paying for the mortgage of that other place where they were living. Excuse me? All right. How do I say your name? I'm just going to say Minette? Says, exactly, Kemp. Have your wife's back. You guys are a team. And that's where she got frustrated. But back to the cameraman. You had one job to do, cameraman. So, because I noticed that there were moments where Dr. Simone was screaming and having, like, she was in Cecil's face, I imagine. Because the cameraman, I think he was trying to let Michael get up and get out. Michael, go the other way. So the cameraman kept on missing the parts where we were supposed to see her getting in Cecil's face. Like, you never have my back. I'm done. I was like, oh. She was mad as hell. Real House Husband, I did not see the live that they did. Any context that you can give us? Exactly, Miss Rosa, it was a valid crash out. Desiree says. The cameraman is like, why am I in it? Because you are supposed to be literally in it. We're missing the shot, sir. You have one job, okay? And usually I'll do it. And honestly, you drop the ball. So Drew says, maybe the cameraman was scared. I don't care, okay? That's your job. Was he new on the job? Was this his first day? So when she was having to crash out and she was going to the other room, the camera's supposed to be following her. You have one job to do. Where were you? You're right. Kendra says these are not the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City cameramen. You were supposed to follow her down the hallway as she's screaming off her. Come on. The live was crazy. Oh no, I need to see the live. Okay. Sometimes their little Instagram lives are better than their show, okay? So, honestly, I was team Dr. Simone. I'm almost never team Dr. Simone, but I was team Dr. Simone in this moment. And I was team firing no, not fired. Don't fire the cameraman. But he dropped the ball. He was supposed to get when she was in Cecil's face and she was screaming at Cecil. And then when she crashed out and left the room and going down the hallway, she's like, I'm done. I'm done. That is when we need the cameras on her. Okay? The one that was sitting next to her, good job. The one that was sitting across from her, you're fired. This is true, KNC. This could also be on the editors. KNC says this scene was badly edited because we kept hearing Simone say things, but we never saw her mouth moving, which is so common with Bravo and which is with reality television. And in their contracts, allegedly also, they sign off basically anything that her screaming at her sons, they could literally splice that and have her screaming at someone else in another scene. They legally, based off their contracts, can do that. So the son is mad at Dr. Simone. She's mad at them. She's like, I'm done. And you never have my back. Honestly, that was the best part of the episode, if I'm being honest. Right? I don't like when Dr. Simone screams like that because it makes me worried for her because it makes me wonder about her blood pressure. I don't want her to have an aneurysm or anything like that. Not that it works that way, but it feels like she's going to have an aneurysm. Miss Esquire says Simone is the only man in the house. And that has to be so frustrating. And I don't like to emasculate Cecil because, again, we don't know their finances. But based off what we've seen on the show, and we know she's bringing in at least 2 checks. The Bravo check, which is a good check. And she's not missed any seasons and she hasn't been demoted. She's an OG. And she's been a part of the show starting where the money was good. Unless they've taken pay cuts, and I have not heard that. So their money is damn good, Dr. Simone on this show. All the OGs. Even Dr. Heavenly. Even though Dr. Heavenly isn't considered an OG, she was in season 1, but she wasn't a part of the cast. Even her check is good. She's talked about her check. She hasn't told us how much she makes, but that's a good check. So that check alone, plus she owns her own practice. I don't know if she does anything else, but here's the thing. So after that, after that scene, I was like, oh my, I felt for Dr. Simone. And then when they go into this group scene, I felt the heaviness from the previous scene. Like, I felt that for her. I was like, I don't even know how you go around other people without talking about it. And when she sees Dr. Heavenly, she's like, she tells Dr. Heavenly what went down. And I feel for her. Here's my hot take. Here's my unpopular opinion. Because everyone goes back to that moment where at the reunion, the cast saved Dr. Simone and Cecil's marriage. They should have minded their business. Because yes, it made great reality television. I remember during that moment, like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. But even then, part of me was sort of like, did they just put a Band-Aid on this relationship? And then it was confirmed for me when we found out the reason why they never finished their marriage book. Remember the marriage book that they were writing on, their relationship book that they were working on? The reason why they never finished it, allegedly, was because they could not talk about the best friend. Because remember, the best friend, Cecil's best friend, the female best friend, was the reason why they were basically about to get a divorce. Because, again, he's always prioritizing everyone else besides Simone. Right? He's always prioritizing everyone else besides Simone. Someone said, Kempire, no. They should have minded their business at that reunion. I feel like that reunion was a Band-Aid. That was just a Band-Aid. They should have gotten a divorce. I do not wish divorce on anyone, but they should have gotten a divorce. They probably would have been much happier. I think Dr. Simone would have been much happier. That's my hot take. I don't care what y'all say. Tammy, yes, Tammy, the former best friend. Okay? I don't think any funny business was going on with Tammy, right? Because didn't they say Tammy was a lesbian? Or did I just make that up? I think. I don't know. Princess BC, thank you so much. Princess BC says, you are my number one Kempire. I didn't even know this was a thing. I learned so much about myself and watched too much YouTube. Too much damn YouTube. Thank you so much, Princess BC. I appreciate that. I'm glad. Some of you have watched over 600 something of my videos this year. I didn't know I did that many videos. But thank you. Thank you to everyone that has been supporting and been tagging me in your YouTube wrap up. Okay. Mr. Melon Magic, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Shout out to your new photo. Dr. Heavenly is a demon. Dr. Heavenly watches these recaps, I'm sure. Dr. Heavenly is a demon, but she didn't lie about Contessa. She didn't. Tessa will gaslight us into thinking she didn't dog out the shorter version of Cecil. Damn. Miss Brooklyn Diamond, thank you again for gifting 10 memberships earlier. Thank you also for the super chat. Miss Brooklyn Diamond says, they are the type of kids who think the parents' money is their money. They were raised with no responsibility at all. Because that's the thing. I think you can give your kids a lot, but also teach them responsibilities. You know what I mean? Even if it's not having them pay the full mortgage, no, you're going to get a job and give us something. I think you can find a balance without disabling your children. Miss Esquire, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Miss Esquire says, this is what happens with too many upper class black parents, giving your children everything you didn't have and not enough of what you did. And not enough of what you did. That part. I think they just need to find a balance. Thank you, Miss Esquire. Ariel, thank you so much for the super chat. Ariel says, I think that paper is from the restaurant. They didn't cook that food. I think in regards to this picture, you think the paper is from the restaurant? Well, no, that's not, no. They didn't cook the food. Look, I have so many questions. Well, no, not really. If the restaurant sent you the food this way, shouldn't you send it back? Would you yourself, Ariel and chat, would you yourself eat that food? I wouldn't. I'm like, oh, hell no. Why they send me this food like this? Maybe you're right. But either way, I would not be eating the food like that. Charge, thank you so much for the super chat. Charge says, the resentment for Quad comes from Dr. Simone has a higher degree and works harder yet has the less. Oh, a lot of people were making that comparison, and this is why Dr. Simone is so frustrated with Quad. Shunda, thank you so much for being a member for the Super Chat. Shunda says, Dr. Simone is so angry. She doesn't like Cecil. This marriage is on its last leg. She doesn't even care that the cameras are there, right there. I mean, I don't blame her. But girl, if you're this frustrated with that, he has not supported. He has given you so many red flags as to prioritizing everyone over you. And at the end of the day, and we talked about this before, especially now in your relationship, he still isn't prioritizing you and your feelings. You think even after these children, sons, young men are married and have their own children, he's going to prioritize you? No. Simply V, thank you so much for the super chat. Simply V says, Simone has set boundaries for all around. Wait, Simone has to set boundaries for all around health. For her health, right? Yeah, I agree. And she and at this particular point, I don't think it's too late, ever. I don't think it's too late, but I don't think they're going to change, her sons. Okay, let me get to this ladies' night out in celebration of Brandy's birthday. So Brandy is hosting the ladies at this restaurant, okay? And she invites all the ladies. Her husband's paying for it. And he says, you know, they can have whatever they want, okay? So as soon as Simone arrives, she sees Heavenly and she tells Heavenly about the conversation that she had with her son, okay? And Simone says that she's tired of being bad cop all the time. She says Cecil is always being quiet. Okay. All right, so the other ladies start arriving. Brandy arrives. Toya makes a comment about how everyone is dressed. She was just like, I forgot exactly what she said. If you remember, be sure to just let me know in the chat. But basically, she was insinuating that nobody was really dressed up. Okay, here's the thing. And Toya, Tacky Toya, as people love to call her, as soon as she came in and I saw what she was wearing, I was like, there goes Tacky Toya with the name brand, you know, t-shirt and things like that. For all you know, mind you, these women like Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone probably make way more money than she does. But they, you know, they spend their money in different ways. Okay. So Toya makes that comment and Jackie is just like, here come this brand name biatch. That's what she said. This is what she said in the confessional. Here she come. Jackie says, you know, some professionals have more places to go than just to the party. Okay? And then Toya is just like, are you trying to say that, you know, some of these folks that are here are not professionals? And she's like, no, just you. Oh. No, just you. Dr. Jackie has never liked Toya. Let's be honest. She's taken microaggressions towards her, made passive-aggressive comments towards her for years. Okay? She doesn't respect her, okay, because she's not a doctor, all right? So Jackie says that she isn't calling the other, unprofessional. She's just calling Toya. Contessa, we find out because Contessa talks about her birthday party, and she's, you know, that's the downside of having a birthday party like that. You don't get to have these intimate moments with everyone. So she said she hosted a brunch the next day and she was cooking from like the early morning until like the evening or something like that. And everyone's like, you ended up cooking the day after your party? And where was Scott? He was outside having a cigar. Wow. So Contessa then asks, so then Brandy brings it back to herself and she's like, her husband and kids were on FaceTime and she pulls them up to show to everyone so that everyone says hello to them. And as she's getting off the phone, she's like, thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, rewatching it, she did say thank you a lot, but maybe he didn't hear her the first 2 times. She did say thank you a lot. But again, I don't care about that. I didn't think that it was, if anything, we could have talked about it and kikied about like, why she say thank you so much? But for Contessa to make a thing about it and then make that snarky remark, you're like, you know, how about we say grace? Are we going to pray to God or say thank you to Brandy's husband? And then Dr. Heaven like, And then mind you, these two have not seen it for each other the last few years. All of a sudden, Contessa says something very off the wall and messy. And they're high-fiving each other. Really? And Brandy is like blindsided. She's just like, huh? Like, don't be mad at me because you might be feeling a type of way. Here's what it was giving, Contessa. It was giving jealous. Because you have complained about Dr. Scott and how you had to throw this party yourself. And then you sort of like, you say that, but then sort of like, oh, I can throw the party myself. It's okay, whatever. Mind you, when Brandy came to help you set up for your party, you were complaining about Dr. Scott. And she said, for the party, he's not going to come to the party and not do something special for you. He didn't. He didn't do anything special for her at the birthday party. And I'm sure she'd probably come out later and say, oh, he did do something for the party. Was it supposed to be that weird speech? Okay. But to make these sort of passive-aggressive, I don't even think it was passive-aggressive. I think it was just aggressive comments towards Brandy was so uncalled for. I felt for Brandy. Like, this is her birthday party. So now you're going to be she's like, hey, well, if Scott threw me a party like this, I would have thought that it was lackluster. So now you're dogging out. First of all, it's her birthday party. It's Brandy's birthday party. You're dogging out her birthday. You're now complaining about her birthday party. You're dogging out her husband. Like, what? So, like, right now you are the rudest guest, and then you say, I brought cash just in case. In case of what? In case of what? The husband said he's going to pay for everything. So she makes that takes that dig about her husband. Okay. So she says if Scott had planned anything like Brandy's dinner, she says that she would have been underwhelmed. Underwhelmed. Okay. Exactly. She says that this isn't a party. She says this is about Brandy's birthday dinner. This isn't a party. All right. And then all of a sudden it turns into an argument between Toya and Contessa. They get into it. Because Toya's pointing out the fact that Contessa has said to them that she wasn't happy with the fact that she had to kind of throw her own birthday party. And then all of a sudden, and Dr. Heavenly says this in her confessional, it's like, I'm not getting involved, but Dr. Contessa does do this. She complains about what's going on in her marriage, and then all of a sudden, she backtracks, and then she wants to gaslight us about it. Because clearly you were frustrated, and clearly you were bothered that someone else's husband was doing more than, and we haven't even seen Brandy say anything about what Dr. Scott did not do. So when Toya and Contessa get into it, they quickly move on, and she even gets up and she hugs Toya. Where's Brandy's hug? This is her birthday party that you now called. You're saying that it basically, you said the birthday party wasn't a party. It was a dinner. It was trash. Basically, that's basically what you said. That it was trash. Might as well. And you owe her an apology. You really do owe her an apology. You just ruined her birthday because you are insecure about your own marriage and the fact that people keep bringing it up or talking about it. Well, you keep bringing it up too. And then you try to make it to be like, oh, the patriarchy. Ain't nobody talking about the patriarchy. You're the one complaining about throwing your own birthday party. Like, you make as much money as him. Okay, fine. All right. And then when you make a dig at him in the confessional about him not having common sense, then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I'm just joking. You do it all the time. You do it all the time. You owe her an apology. Then she takes a dig. She's like, I'm okay. I'm okay with having this ring. And then she touches Quad and says, I don't need I would like a Rolls Royce, but I don't need the Rolls Royce. I'll be just happy with this ring. Quad in her confessional was just like, girl, I not only do I have a ring in the safe, but I also have the Rolls Royce. She's like, clock that T. And she says she doesn't have a headache. Because she's like, how I get in it? How I get in it? Okay. What also stood out to me, she mentions that, you know, she's been with Scott for 20 years and she sees what her single friends are going through. And she'd much rather be where she is than going through what her single friends are going through. So basically, the way I read that scene, you much rather be married and miserable than single and probably happy? That's how I read it. That's how I read it. But in her mind, she's like, well, no, single and miserable. Girl, so you came back in another season to gaslight the audience again about your relationship? You know, we did not need to know that you're paying for this birthday party on your own. We didn't need to know that. Oh, Lord. Hold on. Chris says, Kempire, Contessa released the full speech. Does it matter? I don't need the full speech. I could care less about the full speech. That's not the only thing that stood out to us. He could have said the most beautiful things to you during that. He didn't plan the party. He had one job to do. And here we are. You left this show to come back and do the same damn thing. Again, we didn't need to know. You could have pretended. Yeah, Scott paid for all of this. He told me I could do whatever I want. I mean, he's not great at planning. So he said I can do whatever I want. He will write the check for it. And I've been like, perfect. They've gotten the notes. We don't care if you want to forget it. If you want us to forget all the other stuff. Nope. She wants us to know that she's miserable. And then she wants to gaslight us. She wants to gaslight us. Whew, okay, I'm sorry. Guys, we have 1,200 people in the building, yet we don't have 500 likes. Let's get to 500 likes and we will drop the calling for the general audience. But let me drop the call-in link for our members. It's not a part of your membership. There's all kind of cool perks like the live that we just did over the weekend. Shout out to, if you were at the live that we did over the weekend where I was pulling tarot cards and answering your questions. We had a very good little session there. You can watch the replay because I do believe that someone else's reading can be transformative and connect for someone else. So be sure to check out that if you're a member of the channel. Okay. Even if you're not a member, you can become a member and see it. All right. And for those that are just joining us, happy Hanukkah to those that celebrate. Yeah, happy Hanukkah. I know there's a lot of craziness that happened over the weekend. Prayers to the Reiner family and what they're going through. We just gave you an update during the Potomac Live that the son has been arrested in connection to the unaliving of Rob Reiner and his wife, his parents. And he's being held on $4 million bail. Shout out to the Jewish community in Sydney, Australia, after the terrorist attack that happened there. Shout out to the students and the families affected by the Brown University incident that happened over the weekend as well. Crazy. And yeah, I was going to mention someone, but I'm not going to mention him because I just feel like the more that we focus on this idiot, the more he thrives off the attention. So I'm not going to even say it. We'll move on. All right. So let me drop the call-in link for the general audience. Okay. Well, not the general audience, for the members. Members, I've dropped the call-in link on the post tab here on YouTube. All right. All right. Okay. And let me drink my water because this is my second live of the day. Okay. Does Quad still have the sleep number bed? I hope not. Especially if you're sharing that bed with a new man. Miss Esquire, exactly. What he posted was disgusting. That's why I was like, I'm not going to even address it. He likes the attention. Okay. Let me focus. So back to this. Back to, the super chat that I got. Represent Yourself Legal, aka Coco Esquire. Thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. I agree. Cecil does not respect nor appreciate Dr. Simone. She's miserable and doesn't feel heard. That's why she's always hollering. Imagine how sad she was to share it with Heavenly, right? It's crazy. Crazy. I'm sure they're going to have some way they're going to wrap this up in a nice, pretty bow for the reunion. Let this be the last season. I really feel like this could be the last season of Married to Medicine. It's the same stuff over and over again. But okay. Back to this. What else happened in this scene? Oh, so Quad in her confessional reads Dr. Contessa for filth, okay? Because she's just like, how in the hell I get in this? So at the end of the scene, which is going to lead, I guess, to a conversation about what happened with Dr. Simone, she says, who else here doesn't want to be married other than me? Quad's like, don't say that. That's not true. Honestly, I would not blame Dr. Simone for wanting to get a divorce. Honestly, it wouldn't have shocked me if this week they would have announced that they're separated. Maybe she'll announce it at the reunion. And I'll be happy for her. Cecil can get his best friend back. Dr. Simone can start her new life. Okay? The only bad part about that, Dr. Simone, I'm pretty sure y'all don't have a prenup. Is Georgia a half state? Like, how's that going to work? Because then she probably still be end up. It's probably cheaper to keep them. Wow. It's probably cheaper to keep them. I would get rid of them. I would get rid of them. I can't. All right. Let me get to the call-ins. Guys, once we get to 500 likes, I will drop the call-in link for our Married to Medicine recap of season 12, episode 3. If you're part of the replay crew, we haven't forgotten about you. Be sure to let us know where you're watching from and let us know how you rate this week's episode of Married to Medicine. And your thoughts on what Dr. Simone is going through this week, what Dr. Contessa is going through this week. I want to know your thoughts. Pink Popstar says, file the paperwork. Look, I am not wishing divorce on anyone's relationship, but I will wish a divorce on someone I feel like there needs to be.
Set me free. I wanna be free. Get on with my life now. I wanna get on with my life now. I got a brand new wife now. I'm gonna have a little baby child. A little baby child. A little baby child. Good job, Gregory. You did a great job.
That's us quiet in the chat. Hey, come on now. You know what? I ain't going to remove that for the new year. Okay? Not my song. You know what? Stop. Here come Destiny. Yay. No. Asawi, I love you. I can't with y'all in the chat. Y'all are a mess. All right. Let me get to the callers because I got to get off of here by 5 p.m. Eastern. It's already 4-something p.m. Eastern here. I got to go meditate. I got to unwind. I got to rest my voice. Make sure you guys are following me on TikTok because sometimes after the lives, if I feel up to it, I will go live on TikTok and do some more conversation about Potomac and talk about Married to Medicine on TikTok. So make sure you follow me, TheKempire, on TikTok. All right. Damn, Sweet Pea, you didn't have to say it like that. It still ain't got no baby child? Lord. Damn. That was... Ooh. Miss Mel Max said, that's my song. You know what? Y'all are a mess. All right. We're almost at 500 likes, guys. Once we get to 500 likes, I will drop the call link for the general audience. Let me get to the callers. All right. You guys have a minute to share your thoughts. All right. Tyler's backstage. Tyler, what's going on?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. I don't think that Simone is jealous of Quad. I think Simone is just a high maintenance friend, and she doesn't know how to express. I want to talk to you every day. I want to be, I want you to tell me everything you're going through. I get jealous. I think she's more so jealous of the fact that Quad has found a circle outside of them, and she doesn't know how to express that. Because she kind of did the same thing to Jackie once her and Heavenly started getting cool. Now you're bashing Jackie. Now you're throwing shade. Simone is just one of those type of people who doesn't know how to express that she's territorial. That's what I feel about her. As far as the show, I agree. This should probably be the last season. I thought maybe they should get rid of Jackie or Simone. I just think there's nowhere we can go from here unless they just completely recast. And we're so familiar with the people that were on there, we don't even want that. Bravo has to get to a place of just ending shows. And I
Yeah.
think it's time. It's time.
And bring back Family Karma.
Yes. Or invest in another Black ensemble. Like, here's the thing. I'm sorry,
Go
real
ahead.
quick. They're talking about bringing other shows. I love the idea of Real Housewives of Rhode Island, but I do think we need one more Black cast. Go to Houston.
They
There
have.
are so many Black women and Black families with money there. Go be different, but that's all.
Yeah, I agree. They at Word on the Street, they have tried Houston before, and it just didn't end up working out. So.
Or Dallas. They did white women in Dallas, but I know there's a lot of Black wealth in Dallas.
Yeah.
Do that.
There is.
But that's all.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Look, there is, and please understand, because I know production probably watches these lives, and like, you guys have no idea the amount of work that comes into creating a show in the city. No, we do. We definitely understand. But we would like to see another Black franchise be a part of the Real Housewives universe, but also bring back Family Karma. But you see how you ended Family Karma, and they were on a high. We had 2 weddings, including a gay Indian wedding. Family Karma was so good. All right, let me bring up Cynthia next. Cynthia, what did you want to share? Cynthia?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I think there's a delay, Cynthia.
Uh-oh. I got Verizon, not T-Mobile. Can you hear me? Hello.
Okay, I'm going to drop you, Cynthia. Drop out and then call back in because there's a delay. All right, let me bring up Toya next. Toya, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. I literally just started watching this show, so I'm glad I get to call in. I do want to say real quick, They Can Find Women in Houston. OWN has 2 very good shows that came out earlier this year in Houston. It's called The Heart, I think Family Hustle Houston, a show about friendships, and they had a show about real estate family. All Black women married and got money. So they could do it if they wanted to, honey. They don't want to. I wanted to say, what's up with, I just started watching. Does Dr. Simone's husband have a job? Isn't he a doctor too?
No.
He don't have a job?
Well,
Yeah.
he used to do real estate.
Oh, that's why they want her to pay for everything. Oh, that's not good. Run, ma'am. Dr. Contessa, if Brandy a better woman than me, because I would have cussed her smooth out and kicked her out. How dare you ruin my birthday party by dissing it? When she didn't want anybody ruining her birthday party, she told Toya, she said, don't be shady, don't say anything rude about my party. But then you came to this lady's birthday dinner and disrespected her like that, I would have kicked her out at a darn strip mall. And there are some nice restaurants and strip malls, so just stop it, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks, Toya.
Bye-bye.
Take care. I agree. That's probably the one time that I probably been like, yeah, I would have kicked someone out. She should have kicked her out. Because now you're just being disrespectful for no reason. Like, it's such a reach. All right, let me see. Was Cynthia able to call back in? Where's Cynthia? Oh, wait, I guess Cynthia wasn't able to get back in because we got a full backstage. All right, let me bring Wendy up next. Wendy, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how are you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so I gave this show a 7 because this show made me mad. This episode made me mad. Okay, first, Heavenly was talking about she hadn't seen her son, but then wasn't he in the beginning scenes?
That's different. That's a different one.
Oh, okay, because I was like, ain't that her son? Okay. I was like, see, they already gaslighting me. But then with Dr. Contessa, with her bragging about paying $40,000 for her birthday party, she needs to buy a better boob job because I'm like, okay, your boob job is just...
Wait. No, she talked about this during the reunion. Remember, she had the mastectomy surgery, so that's why her boobs
Okay, I repent. Okay, but yeah, it was a hot mess. I do believe Simone is mad that she did not go through with the divorce, and she's really taking it out on her husband and her sons, but she did have a right to go off on her sons the way she did. Because if my son would have spent $60,000 on $1,000 on a credit card, he would be 6 foot under. I'm sorry.
That is a lot of money. All right. Thanks,
It is.
Wendy.
That's more than I make. I'm pissed. Okay, bye.
Bye, Wendy.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first, there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
I've got Dan Morgan here on the pod. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Dan Morgan. I'm an attorney and a managing partner at Morgan & Morgan, which is America's largest injury law firm.
That's pretty awesome. I think I saw a billboard of yours recently that said 20 billion won. 20 billion is an insane number.
Yeah, 20 billion recovered. It's actually, I think, somewhere north, probably closer to 22, 23 after this year. And each year we get bigger and badder and our army grows. So the number will hopefully keep getting bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Awesome. So how does someone get in contact with Morgan & Morgan? What would I do if I got into an accident?
Probably the easiest way is dialing pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. We are always open. Our call center is always waiting to take your call. 24/7, 365.
Wow. Dan Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Thanks for coming by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I know that. Look, let's try Cynthia again. Cynthia, are you there?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Now I can.
You can hear me now? How you doing, Kempire? Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Good episode. Good episode. Yeah, you hit a couple of nails on the coffin with the Contessa bringing her toxic marriage back on TV. It's pretty exhausting. Yeah, Simone's son is disrespectful. Michael, he's disrespectful and very, very entitled.
Mm-hmm.
Generation, but understand that. That's it.
It's breaking up, Cynthia, but thank you. Cynthia said she got Verizon, though. Look. All right, Bernice is backstage. We're going to bring Bernice up next. Bernice, what's going on?
Hi, Kempire. So I'm going to try to be quick because I be long-winded.
Oh.
So first of all, I give it a 3 because I fell asleep for the rest of the show. I wanted to say that Dr. Contessa and her husband, to me, both are weird. And I feel like Dr. Contessa is jealous of other people's marriages because she probably see how LaToya is with Eugene. And I remember when they was having problems, half the time, Scott didn't even know what the issues were. So I feel like she married who he is, and now all of a sudden she want a little bit change or something like that. Dr. Heavenly is full of BS because Southern Charm had a show where Thomas Rabnall, he was running also for office or something.
Yes.
And he stayed the whole time. His character never changed. He never had to step down. His position stayed the same on that show. And then as far as the food, I think that if they did order from a restaurant, they were so hungry or so clueless that they just poured it in the pan without taking off the paper.
Yes, I agree. Thanks, Bernice. All right. Amina's backstage. Amina, what's going on?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
How are you?
First of all, Contessa scares me. I find her really and I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like she's like the Joker. There's the smile on her face. Her mouth is smiling, but the rest of her face isn't. And it's like there's something wrong, but she's not telling me what's wrong. And then she gaslights me, and she confuses me, but in a way that's terrifying. I think you should be a very exhausting person to be around. It's too much work. And I was so triggered by Simone and the conversation. I was too African to watch that scene. I was about to throw a slipper at the TV. That boy was so disrespectful, not just the entitlement, but the way that he was speaking to her and generally, like, I'm going to give your food to the dog. Which dog? Which dog? If that was I felt like calling my mother and saying sorry to her, and I didn't even do anything. Like, just the disrespect. That's your mom. That's your mom. I'm Muslim, and in my religion, we believe that heaven is under your mother's feet. Like, you don't get to heaven unless you are good to your mother. Of course, there's caveats if your mother is abusive, XYZ, but you don't get to heaven unless you're good to your mother. I was like, this boy's going to hell.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Amina. Yeah. We didn't. And Michael was at Watch What Happens Live with, and they're close. We've followed their relationship through the years. Like, I will say Miles is more like Cecil, and Michael's more like Simone, and Simone and Michael have a really close relationship. So I was kind of surprised to see that little moment, but he was definitely very much entitled, and I got her frustration. Lee's backstage. Hold on, let me bring Lee up. Before I bring Lee up, guys, we're almost at 500 likes. Once we get to 500 likes, I will drop the call-in link for the general audience for those that want to talk about Married to Medicine's latest episode. You can see I'm losing my voice. All right, so let me bring up Lee. Lee, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good. So I did enjoy the episode. Yeah, I think that Simone's kids are out of pocket. Like, we understand what you're trying to do, but the way you're going about it is ridiculous. And I do feel for Simone in that regard, because she's ready to retire at some point, and I'm assuming the near future. So it's just really unfair for her to just be carrying this family like on her back, you know, especially with a partner by her side. That's completely unfair. If Contessa thought that she could just take a year off and then we would forget that her marriage had problems, we never forgot, honey. It's actually the only thing I think about when I think about you returning to this show. Like, you have issues. You should be talking about it. If not, then why are you even on the show? I mean, good for your little, you know, medical business, but yeah, anyways, also I agree with you. The stories are getting a little repetitive, which is why I thought that them bringing on, you know, new younger cast would help. But we haven't heard anything from them, and it's been 3 episodes, so I'm confused on what's going on right now.
I agree. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, because we have 3 new. I mean, Mimi's still technically new. I know this is not her first season, but she's full time. We've got Angel Love, and we've got Brandy. I think Brandy's doing good so far, even with people coming after her. Not Luke from General Hospital died. Oh, that's sad. Luke from General Hospital. Hold on, please hold. Let me see. Miss Brooklyn Diamond says, jump back on to say rest in peace to Anthony Geary. Luke from General Hospital transitioned at the age of 78. Oh, Lord. Rest in peace to Luke. I used to love the soaps as a kid. Hence why I really wanted to get into the new soaps on CBS. I just couldn't. Time. But I used to watch General Hospital all the time. I used to watch All My Children, One Life to Live, Days of Our Lives. I used to love them. Oh, rest in peace. All right. Let me bring up Miss Esquire next. Miss Esquire, what did you have to say about Married to Medicine this week?
A whole lot. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
I love Luke and Laura. That wedding is iconic, baby.
Yeah.
It was 80s gold, right up there with Princess Diana's wedding.
Ooh.
Okay, so what I will say is Dr. Simone's boys are the product of the man she married. They are a reflection of the man that she married. And those boys are who their father raised them to be. And I think that is what is frustrating Dr. Simone, is because she is seeing mirrored in their behavior a lot of the behaviors of Cecil that she does not like. And that is one of the problems when you partner with somebody and you marry them and you have children, is that you have to understand, especially the child who aligns with the parent's gender, that is going to be their primary example of how to function as a man or as a woman. And so what they have seen their father do is not consistently work in a way that contributes to the household as much as their mother, but yet still benefit from all of the fruits of her labor and still treat her not well. And so what are they now doing? The same. And as someone whose parent, I have a parent who is a physician, and I have, I can shut up.
No, go ahead.
No, I have a parent who is a physician. My father was a school teacher growing up. My parents always told us, we will pay for your undergraduate education. You will pay for your graduate education. Because if you want to continue your education, you're going to make that investment in yourself. And my issue with Simone is you know who you are and how hard you are willing to work because of what you've been through and what you built. You're not allowing your boys to struggle. It's absolutely handicapping them, and they will lead households as men the same way your husband is. And what I also know is if Michael is not willing to go out and get loans or scholarships to go to law school, that means he's not going for himself. He's going because he thinks you want him to.
And prolonging them taking care of him.
Oh, this is a failure to lunch, baby. Cut the cord.
Yeah.
Cut it.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Esquire.
All right, bye.
Bye. I didn't even think about it that way because it's true. Because especially for a graduate degree, this should be something that you're passionate about, and not just something because your mom's a doctor and you feel like that's just something you should do. Maybe, and if you're paying for it, you're going to put a lot more focus on that degree and how much hard work you're going to put into that. Because like I'm paying for this myself. I definitely think I wouldn't be surprised if she's going to pay for it regardless, but okay. All right, let me bring up O'Shea. O'Shea, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire. Hey. You know, I've been wondering where Contessa with the no self-esteem was, and then there she came back after 2 weeks. She never left, and I said, there's my favorite. There she is. Oh, may I just say one thing about the Simone situation? You know, I think in terms of, the 60,000 and stuff, but those are boundaries that she and her husband didn't set.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think when it comes to education, regardless of anything, if parents are in the position to pay, I do think that they should pay. I mean, that's just like how stuff is, back home. I know that's not like an American or Western thing, but I think like when it comes to education specifically, if parents are able to pay, they should pay. But I do get this a different dynamic with the kids and them being out of control with money and stuff. So that's just my 2 cents on that. But also Simone has been saving money. She doesn't spend money on jewelry, on clothes, on the house. Like she's had everything that she's had for the past decade. So it's not like when she was talking, I'm like, it's not like you're struggling. Like you've been saving your money, not to counter money, but anyway. But the whole family dynamic is just a mess. And like you said, it's run its course. We've been having this for like a decade now.
But apparently she feels like she would like to retire, and she probably knows what that number is in regards to what she needs to retire. And she probably is not at that. If you are paying for $60,000 in credit card debt, it's kind of
that's fair. That is very fair.
Lord. All right. Thanks, O'Shea. Take care. Bye. I mean, that's the thing, too. When you think about African culture and what when we talk about Nigerians and what they expect from their kids, they want their kids to become lawyers. They want their kids to become doctors. They encourage that. So in that particular aspect, I'm like, well, if you're encouraging me to become one of that and you can afford to pay for it, you're asking me. So that's where it might change in regards to the argument. But I need them to get a job. Hayat is backstage. Hayat, what's going on?
Hi, Kempire. I'm so happy to be catching your live. You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
You look so good. Anyways, I wanted to just say that this episode kind of broke my heart. Like, I was just watching a bunch of women in relationships because they just want to be in that relationship and they're not essentially happy. And to me, I think about those moments when I think about a man, if they truly love you, those moments that are supposed to celebrate you, they are supposed to be there for you. And they're supposed to make you feel special in that moment. So when I think about Dr. Simone talking about her first Mother's Day, not getting anything. When I think about Contessa, I had a man like that in my life, and the key word is had. He showed me once what he was about to do for me for a holiday that I was so excited to be celebrated, and he didn't have to show me twice. And that's it.
That part. Thank you, Hayat. Have a great day.
You too.
She said a word right there. She said a word. Okay. Let me bring up Ashley versus Storm. What's going on, Ashley?
Hey, Kempire. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Haven't talked to you in a while. So my thoughts on Married to Medicine is I do echo a lot of the things that Miss Esquire said about Simone's son. It definitely is a point of where if you have boys, to me, in my opinion, now this is just me, I think that Cecil is lacking what the backbone that a man should have, if I'm being completely honest. The way that he looked at Simone when, Michael was talking, like, I can't believe you don't agree. It was almost to say, I can't believe you don't agree with him. And so that's why Simone is so angry all the time. She feels like Cecil never has my back, regardless of whether it's the kids or the ladies. On both ends, he's always taken the other person's side and not stood with his wife.
I agree.
Yeah, that's terrible. And then as far as Contessa, looking at her at that dinner table made me think, you look like the lady that your hand is on fire, but you're screaming as it doesn't burn. Because you, like, for real, her hand is on fire and she's screaming, it doesn't burn. Because, baby, you are clearly upset that, your husband is not throwing you parties and doing the things that you want him to do. So I just feel bad for her because she's, misdirecting her anger to everybody. So that's all.
Thank you, Ashley. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. The other thing we have to remember, and I know they've talked about this before, I think Cecil's the way that he is because I think his parents babied him. And there have been little signs and symptoms of things that Dr. Simone has said about Cecil and how he grew up. So I think that's part of the reason why. And he also doesn't want to be the bad guy with his sons. But again, like I said before, it feels like he never has her back. Ever. Even when she was fighting with Quad, he was still besties with Quad. All right. Okay, we had a couple of super chats. Thank you so much. Well, more than a couple. Thank you, Kendra, for the super chat. Kendra says, playing the song was my Christmas gift from you. You're welcome. Look, you're welcome. Patent Ventures, thank you so much for the super chat. Patent Ventures says, even at their tax bracket, Dr. Simone didn't inherit generational money and still suffers from racial inequality pay gap as a black physician and a woman. This is so important. We're not even thinking about this. It's unfair to compare whitey Nepo dynamics. Someone explain this to her son. You're right. You're 100% right. Nicole, thank you so much for the super chat. Nicole says, God, Biden Harris wiped out my student. Oh, you were one of the people? Congrats. Thank God Biden Harris wiped out my student loans. Good for you. Okay. Cynthia, thank you so much for the super chat. Cynthia says, Nigerian parents, in my opinion, want their kids to have prestigious degrees for bragging rights. Which they've talked about this before. We've talked about so many different Nigerian reality TV stars that have said this. I know Cynthia, you're Nigerian as well. So, but my thing is, if you want the bragging rights, can you help me pay for this degree? And if you can, then I have a difference of opinion in regards to this. Allie, thank you so much for this super chat. Allie says parents should pay for their kids' undergraduate school, but if the child is on a 6-year plan because of their partying, I'm not paying for it. Agreed. If your parents can pay for your undergraduate, fine. My parents couldn't. I paid for my undergraduate and my graduate. Just saying. Okay. So I paid for all of that. All right. But we're not here talking about me. All right. Let's bring up Angel. Hold on. Angel, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Kim.
Oh, okay. Because I saw 2 angels before and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so I just have a question. Did my ears fail me when I heard Simone say, what if I drop down dead before everything happens? And Cecil says, well, if the Lord takes you, I
forgot about that part.
Okay, because I was going to say, Simone, please change the beneficiary on your life insurance ASAP if that is how your family feels about you when you are working yourself to the bone to be the probably sole provider for your family. And then Contessa we're forgetting that she's a veteran. She was in the military. She has dealt with a lot, her health and everything. So, I mean, I don't condone her staying in this terrible marriage, but who are her castmates who are also in toxic and loveless marriages to throw stones at her glass house because they're all in them. And that's it.
Thanks, Angel.
And thank you for my reading the other night, Kemp. I did some more research and I am looking forward to it. So I can't wait to give you an update.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thanks, Angel. Take care. All right, let's see. Wait, where's Miss Bernice? She said she was gonna call back from Married to Medicine. Miss Bernice, where you at? All right, let me bring up Izzy. Izzy, what's going on? What did you want to share?
Hey there, I'll try to keep it quick. So I was one of those people whose parents did pay for my undergraduate degree. However, they made me pay for a semester, which was really important because they said that I needed to invest in my own education, which I feel is 100% the truth.
Oh.
And they also were on the type time where they said, grad school, you on your own. You better find some grants, find some scholarships, find something. And I agree that it really makes you really focus on what your goals are. And so I agree wholeheartedly with Dr. Simone on that one. And then the other piece of this is really that I think with both Dr. Contessa and Dr. Simone, the problem is marrying people thinking that they are going to change. And knowing, you really need to know and expect that they will be exactly who they are forever and for the duration. So sitting there hoping and wishing, that people are going to be different people over time. Now, people can grow and change, but you really need to, if you decide to marry someone, you need to be with someone accepting their worst qualities and knowing that you're okay with dealing with those worst qualities throughout your entire marriage and throughout your entire union. So that's all I got.
And didn't Monique say that on Real Housewives of Potomac? She said that was part of the problem with Chris Samuels. She married him. She was marrying potential, and she thought that he was going to change, and he never did.
Exactly. And she said that that was unfair to him, and I agree with her.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Izzy.
No problem.
I love when we have these phone calls because you guys, I feel like we have healthy conversations about these topics, which lead us to talking about other things. I think we learn from each other and learn from these people's bad mistakes. I'm just saying. All right. Let me say thank you. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. And don't forget, you can also hear an audio version of our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. Let me know if you're subscribed in the chat. And if you're a part of the replay crew, let us know if you're subscribed to the Kempire podcast. If not, why not? And while you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays. It's 10 days till Christmas. Okay. Let me say thank you to Keith for another. Keith, you've been giving us all the dollars today. Thank you. Keith says Contessa married a man that doesn't like her. Not a marriage to envy. My parents paid for my master's, but I don't even use it. I don't regret it either. Well, a lot of the jobs that I had, I didn't end up using. Technically, it wasn't required of my job, but you do end up using it. You do end up using whatever skill set sometimes that you learned from those degrees. But a lot of the jobs that I've had never necessarily required that particular degree. But I think I was able to do certain things and handle certain conversations and handle certain scenarios because I had that level of education. Live Well LA, hey, thank you so much for the super chat. Live Well says, and beautiful photo, says, Black women, please tell Black girls to marry financially equal, or you will always get Candy, Simone, Jackie, Wendy Williams, Sherry Shepherd, and the list goes on. Damn. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. No, not anything wrong with what you just said, saying marrying your financial equal. Yeah. Because, I mean, there's so much more. We can unpack that. It's not even just about the man making a little bit less than you. There's just so many other things that go into that. I mean, especially because, first of all, you're a man, and you already have a heads up on women in the world of making more money. So then there's that. Okay. All right. Let me move on. I already did my recap. We have people waiting patiently backstage. Jaceline hasn't called in a hot second. What's going on, Jaceline?
Hey, Kemp. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm all right. I hate I missed your live, and there's a couple of things I missed. But in reference to Married to Medicine, first of all, there was alcohol involved with that conversation. Like the kids had already started drinking before the parents got there, and then cut to the argument. It looked like there had been drinking going on. So why would you have such a serious conversation in the midst of alcohol being utilized? That just never is a good idea. And so I just felt like even though they brought it up, I mean, it was just a cluster from the beginning because it just wasn't the right setting and the time, even though it was a necessary conversation. And lastly, where is Cecil's checks? I mean, what is Cecil even doing? We haven't heard about real estate. We haven't seen him say, I got a meeting. So, like, she's probably stressed out because, again, as people are saying, she's the breadwinner. But that's an uncomfortable place to be in, and she should be concerned about wanting to take some time. So I hope that they really, I mean, they probably won't, but I hope that they really try to change their behavior. But it's so learned and ingrained at this point. Like, it would have to be something serious that shifts it. But it is an unfortunate situation for her to be in. I felt really bad for her. And that she returned to how we saw her before. She, like, lost all the points she had gained this episode. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for calling in.
You're welcome. Bye.
Wow. I need to go back and watch that scene. Were they drinking? Oh Lord. Well, that makes you think like, okay, maybe that's why it escalated the way that it escalated. All right, we're gonna bring Michael up next. Michael, what did you want to share?
Oh, hey, Kempire.
Hey.
This is a lot of smart conversation concerning Cecil and Simone, and everybody touched a lot of great points. I just want to say Simone is a very disrespectful wife, and we got to look at it from Cecil's perspective and point of view. He has a backbone. He's a man. He's from South Central LA. Okay, he has a backbone. But after years of dealing with Simone, it's been beat out of him. And so the only thing he can do is stand by his boys and support them and support other people like Quad, because that's like his way of the get back. He can't outwardly show he's against Simone, but he could do small things here and there to make sure she get hers. She resents him, and this is the most important part. The resentment is so deep-rooted, it's on the children. Notice how Michael said in that scene, I have a wealthy mother. He didn't even consider his father, who has a degree from Morehouse College, as a part of this empire building of wealth. He looks at his mom as the only thing, and that's disrespect that he has because the mother did it. That's how she treats the husband, and that's how the children see the father. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Michael. I like differing opinions. I know I really like, because then I'm probably like, wait, let me see from your point of view, your POV. But if what Michael said is true, then if he's not happy in that relationship, then shouldn't you leave the relationship? I'm like, okay. So some of y'all like is Joya says Cecil definitely. No, Michael has called in before, y'all. So I wouldn't necessarily believe like he was just someone random that came in here. No, Michael has called in before. That's interesting. Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion as long as you're respectful with sharing your opinion. You're not calling people out their name. Look. DV says facts, Michael. All right, let me get to these last couple of callers. We got Arjun backstage. Arjun, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to say this. You know that conversation between Simone and her son? Do you think it was right to actually like them to show it? Because like, if my mom spoke to me like this, I don't think I can ever come back, because as a parent, this is a conversation you have behind the doors, like in the room. You don't show it to publicly, especially coming from my culture. Like my parents will never. My parents, if they're gonna correct me, they're gonna do it in private, not in public. Like in our culture, we show our kids to be the best version of them. We always say, "Oh, this our kid," and that. So for me, that conversation, I was like shocked. Yeah. I just couldn't watch. It was like really heartbreaking, because why are you putting your kid's business out in public? You're making thousands, like millions of people watch the show. The kid is getting judged.
Yeah, we're judging him here.
Sorry?
We're judging him here.
Exactly. Like for me, this conversation was so saddening, because my parents will never do that. Like I just don't think this conversation should have even been shown. Like correct them in private, not in public like that. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Thank you, Arjun.
But
I have to say, it did cross my mind, especially with the way that cameras kept on moving, and I was like, "Wait, did they edit it in a way that we didn't see how really bad it got?" So part of me was like, "Damn, should we be seeing this?" That did cross my mind. All right, let me bring up Anthony next. Anthony, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. Hey, everyone. I'm calling from Los Angeles, California. How are you?
I'm doing well. You?
Good, thank you. So I'm gonna give this episode a 6 out of 10. I haven't watched Married to Medicine, I believe last season. I don't know, because I left when Phaedra left. And then sadly Apollo left too. But for this episode, I'm like, Simone, I understand her crash out. I just don't feel it. I understand in a way of she's the only one literally making money. I don't believe Cecil at all. Not even one check is coming in his name. So for Simone to crash out, I understand on that point, but it's not the one that set up this whole system to begin with. I don't believe Cecil told her what to do and all this if he's not bringing in the dollar. So everything comes from Simone's mind and her own thinking, her own ideas. So for her to kind of set this up, she's kind of, I don't know what's the phrase, setting up for failure or something. Because how is the kids going to rank up the bill of, what was it, like $60,000? So like, how are you going to allow this to happen? Was there no system and plan of the budgeting of weeks? But obviously with as much and how much she's working, it's like, girl. But that's about it. Thank you so much, Kempire.
Thanks,
Happy
Anthony.
holidays, everyone.
You too.
Take care.
I will say this. I'm not saying that Dr. Simone doesn't hold some sort of responsibility here because we've talked about it. We've talked about it the last couple of seasons, last season as well. I was like, they need to start putting their foot down. So, all right, let me bring up Jess. Jess, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to say that with Dr. Simone talking about how she's feeling and ultimately bringing up her health, I definitely thought about the movie Cricklin with, that was Alfred Woodard's character. And in the end of the movie, I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it's a classic, but she does end up passing from cancer. And it's because she was ultimately stressed out. And that is when she mentioned her demise in the episode, and then Cecil said, yeah, that could happen. I was like, what kind of husband does that? She's literally crying for help at that moment. And I feel like regardless of Cecil's feelings and everything like that, that was out of line to do to your wife. And with Dr. Contessa, I do feel like she often projects, and that is her issue going in from season 8, and just her decision making, even with her going out of state to do her college, knowing that she has children. It's I feel like she makes bad decisions and just wants to see if Scott will stop her from doing it. And I just think that he then projects onto her other cast members that they have a differing opinion. So that's just it.
Okay. Thanks, Jess.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. I love how this conversation really gets you thinking. All right. Last but definitely not least, April Aries, what do you want to share about Married to Medicine's latest episode?
Good evening, Kempire. I want to say that this episode really highlighted with the Black community, but not just our community, but other communities. We're taught to settle and see the potential in a person and not what they're actually showing us, because each of those women at the table have settled in some way to get what they want. And when Dr. Heavily made the comment, oh, these young girls, they don't bend over backwards and anything, it's like you're romanticizing what your parents and your parents before them, basically the moms went through, because the stories that I'm hearing from Twitter and articles to where we're gaining rights that we didn't have. And so to say that us young women don't want to bend over, no, we're fighting for our freedom, not just inside the home, but outside the home. So it's more than just not wanting to cook someone dinner. That should be gender neutral. You're grown, I'm grown, we should be able to take care of ourselves. Now, as a person who had to take out loans through, FSU and things like that, and thankfully my grandma came through and paid my student loans, so I am free of that. But yes, I was like, ooh, I cried because the it was such a hassle to get them to pay. My grandma was just like, you know what? How much is it? And I said, ooh, I did a praise dance in my bedroom. And one more thing, I do think they should support, Dr. Simone should support her kids, but it should have been boundaries put in place a long time ago to teach them financial responsibility. Have a good day, Kempire.
You too, April Aries. Take care. Well, God bless you. Paid off our student loans. Not my grandparents. Oh, Kempire. Fine. This was a really great conversation. Let's continue this conversation in the comments section. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers. Thank you to those of you that became new members or were gifted memberships. Thank you to our viewers that are just watching and you're not subscribed yet. Get subscribed, turn on your notifications so you don't miss out. We go live a lot here on the channel. And What else? Thank you guys so much for the super chats, the Venmos, the Cash Apps, all of that. Any way that you can support the channel, you can support just by watching the video and being here as long as you've been here. So thank you. And if you missed it, we were live earlier today for our recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Be sure to check that out. Let's continue this conversation in the comments section. I don't think I have anything left to say. I think we've talked about this a lot, and this is only episode 3 of season 12. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. Okay? All right. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.